welcome back everyone. And before the break, we were talking about energy, and it was very informative, very technical, and you know, one form of literature kind of that we were trying to give to you.
Exactly, and then you know, at times whenever we speak about energy, so you know, we have energy within ourselves as well, and then we tend to progress with that energy, and then there are people who actually, you know,
focus it. They focus their energy.
They focus their energy, and when they focus their energy, they're the ones who become leaders. And then, you know, a lot of times over here on the show as well, we speak that, you know, men get to do the best of the jobs, but that's not correct, because then Maha will actually not, but then Maha will actually make sure that, you know, I'm not living anymore. So let's not say that. But then picking up on energy and all of these things, now where we're moving is in literature. And whenever we speak about literature over here in Pakistan, the situation is quite dire, because, you know, the authors do not tend to get that much of attention, irrespective of the fact how much attention they get in the other world areas as well. So now we'll focus on that. We'll focus on the shelf lives, and for that particular reason, we have been joined by. Do you want to add on to that?
No, I do.
Right.
You know, over here we have such brilliant minds, and especially nowadays we have, like, you have the classics, but you also have new people who are coming out who are making really great things that people should be aware of. And in Pakistan, you know, we're very lucky. We do have literature festivals.
Yes.
And we are very lucky that we have been joined by people who have been working in this area so hard that even internationally they've been recognized. They've been recognized by the Queen of England and everything. So I'm going to hopefully do justice to this introduction to this lady who has joined us, and we're very lucky.
But not right now, not right now. Okay, because, you know, I'll take you guys back to 1988. So now, you know, she's the one who actually took on with the Oxford Press over here in Pakistan in 1988, when Oxford Press was actually releasing a book a year. And then since the time when, you know, she's taken over, she's the managing director right now.
First lady, Pakistani lady.
Yes, the first Pakistani lady as well. It's a book per week. So now just imagine how much difference she might have created in between, you know, all of those barriers which were there for her as a woman as well, and then being a literary person.
Exactly. So we have been joined by Mrs. Aminah Siyid, OBE, Managing Director of Oxford Press University, Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining us. Oxford University Press. Sorry, I got it wrong.
That's right.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
And I was just, you know, I was just going through your profile last night when I was studying about it, and I was like, Shazad, are you going to do anything in your life? That's what my parents used to say as well. But then on another note, you know, other than literature, there's another art form. Literature is an art form as well. That's how I consider it. There's another art form which is known as Kathak dance. And then there's another art form which is known as modern dance. And then, you know, I was quite surprised that, you know, a daughter of such a literary person picking up such type of art form. I was quite intrigued, and I thought that, you know, I'm going to ask them this question on the show. I wanted to ask them before that, you know, do you want me to ask this question or not? So I said, no, I'll do it on the show.
Okay, Shazad's really excited. So let's introduce to our guest. We have been joined by Shayma Siyid. She is a Kathak and modern dancer. She is also a curator at the Islamabad and Karachi literature festivals as well. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us. You look absolutely fabulous.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have so many questions.
Okay,
so
but first my question. All right.
You start.
So how was it? How was it when you actually chose to, you know, go for Kathak dance and modern dance style? And you know, you belong to her as well, and then she's quite literary, and she's got a different thought process overall. So was it difficult for you, or it wasn't? She said, okay, go ahead, do it.
No, actually, she didn't say go ahead, do it. She took me for the dance classes when I was when I was only 6 years old, and she took me against all odds, because at that time we were in Lahore and we didn't have a car, and we didn't have any money because my parents were very young. And so she used to take me in the minivan from the public transport to take me there to the Arts Council Lahore and sit there for hours. And my little brother was just, I think, a year old.
That's the best part about educated parents, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They do not have any stigmas or things in their head.
Exactly. So let's move on to you, ma'am. You know, how did you get into this? Because it's such a fascinating journey that you've had. So please tell us.
Well, actually, it was just by chance that, you know, I decided to work for Oxford University Press. I had been going to some book fairs, and I'd always been very interested in reading, actually, not so much in publishing. But somehow I was looking for a job, and there's an opening at Oxford University Press, and I managed to get that job. And that was actually the beginning. It was really at entry level. but which actually I find that has been very good for me, because I learned the ropes at at really an entry level.
Okay.
So,
please.
So that's why I have a very good idea of all aspects of the work.
Okay, wonderful.
Very nice.
So what makes you so interested in literature in particular? Why did you go? Why did you? I know by chance, but why this? And why did you stay in it?
Well, I think it's it made me interested because of the environment in my family. My mother was a poet. I mean, not a she was actually a housewife, but very interested in poetry. And I always saw her trying to write something. And she's published a book of volumes also, a volume of poetry. My aunt was Quratul Ain Haider, the Urdu novelist. And my father was also very, when he was not working, he was reading a book.
Very nice.
And in such an in-depth way that he used to actually, he couldn't read a book without a pencil. He was constantly writing notes in the margins, underlining lines.
Wow.
So it was the atmosphere at home, and this is what I say all the time now when people ask me how we can promote reading in the classroom, in Pakistan actually. I say that it begins at home, and also it has to be promoted in the classroom all the time.
No, but earlier in the day, I still remember that, our grandparents actually used to converse with small couplings, and then, they used to, they were natural poets,
That's right.
That's how they used to converse. But then there was a transition where we weren't there. So you were probably there when this transition was taking place. Even for all those elderly people I have at my family, they still converse the same way. Somebody's going to say 2 lines, and then the other's going to say 2 lines, and then it's going to build up. Where do you think that, we took a U-turn that this is not how we want to go about it? Or is it related to our schooling system as well?
I think it is. I think it is related to our schooling system. But I feel that it hasn't quite died. I think even now our conversation is sprinkled with poetry, with shairi. And I'm very happy to see, some people from the younger generation are still quoting couplets.
Yeah.
So it hasn't quite gone, but I think that, we have to work on it.
It is
There you are, wonderful.
Okay, so now we're going to go and share a little clip with you.
Yeah.
And so just to give you a bit more detail into all the work that has been done in literature by our ma'am.
Yeah, and Shayma is going to be so happy about the clip as well. All right, go ahead.
So that was wonderful. That was Shayma performing in Lincoln Center, New York, and also at PTV. We recognize the PTV one. Okay, now, Kathak and, modern dance, it's also a way of expressing and telling stories. So obviously it's kind of a very nice complement to each other, but within the festivals, you have dance performances. How well are they received in comparison to maybe, the actual written work?
Well, I think it really depends on who the performer is. I think whether it's a book or whether it's, I think you judge it by the artist, not by the form. I think the artist is always more important than whether they are using Urdu, whether they're using English, whether they're writing a book, whether they're acting. I think the artist is more important. So it depends on, but I think the audiences are very encouraging. They have big hearts. And they really appreciate the
dance form.
But what is the essence of Kathak? Because whenever we talk about poetry or writing, the essence is observation, and then creating your own thought processes and then penning them down. So what is the essence of Kathak when you are there on the stage and then those drums being played? Do you have to interpret like each and every beat, or it is how you go with the flow? I think that's a difficult one though.
Well, I think it's about sort of leaving the essence. I think comes when you're not thinking about it. I think when you're so comfortable, when you're so in tune with the rhythms, and either because you've practiced a lot or because you've said, that's when the essence comes out. When it's not your
so you just have to follow the stream.
Something that's in your subconscious. It's not. You're expressing
it's
something.
Second nature, subconsciously, it's just coming naturally.
Yeah.
Okay. We have other people who have done a lot within Kathak. We have Ashima Kirmani and Nigar Chaudhary. In regards to that, who was your inspiration? Who helped you, guide you?
Well, I have to say that all of them have been my teachers, and they've all helped me and guided me, because I started, like I said, at a very young age when I was 6. So I used to just, I got so much love and affection from all the students of Maharaj. I was Maharaj's students, but his students were so important, who were the senior students who also used to, the classes used to be these big classes, all inclusive, all levels, all ages together in the class.
Okay.
And so I just got to know all of them, and they've all been very supportive.
Yeah. All right, but then at the same time, I'm one of those people who's actually more interested in modern dance. Do you think that there are quite a lot of other people within Pakistan who are interested in Kathak dance, or, the depletion's there as well?
The interest, is it rising, or is it?
I'm sorry, are there enough people in
Pakistan who are interested,
Kathak?
for Kathak dance, or you don't see the...
I think that with Kathak, I think it's becoming, there's a resurgence with Nigar Chaudhary is really, I think at this time, she's opened her institute.
Yeah.
So she's doing a lot of teaching at this point. I don't think in the past she has been able to, but I think
because
right
the only
now,
reason why I'm asking you this question is that Pakistan has only produced like 3 Kathak dancers so far. So, I don't know whether there's a lot of interest or not, but I just wanted to move on to ma'am right now. So ma'am, picking up on interest, people say over here that nobody's any more interested in reading books or authors. Is it how it is, or it's not?
Actually, I wouldn't agree. It is, I think, said a lot, but we are still surviving, and we survive by publishing books and selling books. So somebody must be buying them.
Exactly.
But having said that, I think I should qualify that by saying that you have to beat the drums to make people interested in reading. And that is why we organize these literature festivals, we organize events, activities, book launches, so that we really attract people to books. And I think the best way to attract people to books and reading is to get them to know about authors and to introduce them to authors, meet them face to face, to question them, to listen to them. And that's always very inspiring, because I feel that authors are such interesting people. I mean, not just in what they write, but to meet. So that is a very good way of attracting people to books.
Right.
And also, apart from the literature festivals that you do, you also have been, you started, I think, about 13 bookstores as well across Pakistan.
Well, actually 26.
No, it's 26. Sorry, information is dated.
All
I'm sorry.
Because they constantly be adding on.
Exactly. So the interest is there. How difficult was it to do that? I mean, how is it to monitor it, to make sure that the quality is there, that all the bookstores are running how they should be running?
Well, we created an ideal model, and that took time to make that model, and systems and a lot of training went into people who work at these bookshops. And having created that model, it was easy to replicate it. So now we have the model, we have the branding, the marketing, the staff training, the systems to run those, and of course our books.
Yeah. But then at the same time, I want to talk about libraries. Now, I'll share a very amazing fact. And that fact is that, somewhere in US, they have a library where people are actually allowed to go sit and share their story as an open book. All right, live, so anybody would be sitting over there, you go to them and ask them about their life and learn from them. So they have actually advanced from the idea of paper. How do you think technology is actually affecting that book reading habit? Because if you travel abroad, everybody's reading a book. They know how helpful it is going to be.
Yes.
Over here in Pakistan, everybody's so busy updating their statuses on Facebook and Twitter that they really do not get any time.
Well, I think that, we as publishers, we produce content rather than printed books. And that once that content has been produced, it is written by somebody, we get, and then it's edited and polished, and then the content is ready. Once it's ready, we can produce it in any format. It can be in the form of a printed book. It can be an e-book that can be uploaded to any device. So we don't mind. People can read books on the internet. They can read it on their iPads. They can read it on their mobile phones. That's fine with us. We produce the content. But the whole idea, why have we opened 26 bookshops? Because we want to improve access to books. So whether it's through printed books or you walk into a bookshop, but what you said about libraries is very important. People shouldn't have to pay for every book they read. And unfortunately in Pakistan, we don't have a developed system of public libraries. We need a network of libraries throughout the country to promote reading. Absolutely. And those libraries can have e-reading.
Yeah,
absolutely,
as well.
That's fantastic. Now, okay, we have this reading side, and books. You can do a lot with them. You can put them onto the internet. You can turn them into audiobooks. But with regards to the dance form, Kathak and modern dance, it's more difficult to access. I mean, if you have access to the internet, you can watch it on the internet. But you personally have to go to each place. Do you find that it's more difficult to promote this art form and the knowledge and the history of it, in comparison to promoting, literature and books?
Well, I don't know if. I mean, I think certainly there's, because whenever something is written, it has a higher value. Dance is like an oral tradition, and it's not. Now that there's videos, I think there's more chance of it being promoted. But I think a lot has been lost because of that, and also, you automatically get a higher status when something is written and when something is not. So I think in that sense, I don't think dance does get its fair due. And yes, it is harder to, of course you can share your videos, but it's not going to have the same impact on the audience as when the audience is seeing it live.
I mean, these days the traditions are changing now. Everybody's got this facility to open up their own YouTube channel, their own Daily Motion channel.
But
so I mean, if we compare it with the shelf life, I think the videos are going to be there forever as well. They're not going to go anywhere.
Yes, videos are a great way to document.
Yes.
But I just meant that in the past, it's an oral tradition, so it hasn't been disseminated as easily as because it's been passed down from student to teacher, from teacher to student. And so it's not been, and then only certain students are allowed to perform that for certain, so that's why we have these gharanas of.
Okay, there's different levels as well. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just want one question on.
But I think at this stage, because like you said, because of the videos, there is more intermingling. For example, there is more, giving and taking from different traditions.
Yeah.
For example, the dance that I performed at ILF was a blend of Kathak and modern completely.
Wonderful. Now, we talked about that's the challenges of promoting Kathak and modern dance. What are the challenges that you see now for the authors out there, for people who are trying to get their books published?
Well, there are many challenges because there aren't so many publishers in Pakistan. And I mean, to a large extent, we at Oxford University Press are trying to fill that gap. And we do publish a lot of authors. But we can't publish all kinds of books because we have to also focus on a certain genre. And we don't, for example, publish contemporary fiction. We only publish it if it becomes a literary text and is used at educational institutions.
Right.
So contemporary fiction writers find it slightly difficult to get published in Pakistan, although there are publishers who are doing them, but in a small way. They have started going to Indian publishers who are publishing fiction in a big way.
Right.
So a lot of Pakistani fiction writers are going to India. But that's fine, as long as they get published. It doesn't matter where they get published.
Sorry, because we are really running out of time, but I want to ask you, but what are the challenges for the publishers?
Well, for us, the biggest challenge is book piracy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I was coming.
Whenever we publish a book and and we invest in marketing and promoting it, it becomes popular. It's pirated. That is our biggest single challenge.
So how are you trying to resolve this issue?
Well, it's an uphill task because our laws are very weak. Our copyright laws need to be strengthened. Enforcement is also weak. So we try to lobby with the government to strengthen laws, and we try to bring it up from every forum.
Then any literature festivals in the coming days?
Yes, we are. I'm also a co-founder of the Children's Literature Festival. The next one is actually next week in Sakkar.
Very nice.
Excellent. Wonderful. And sorry, I had one more question, but we're running out of time. But in regards to everyone that's watching, the people, the citizens of Pakistan, what can we do to curb the problems, for example, with the piracy issue? How do we play our role to help the authors and the dancers and everyone?
I think the media has a big role to play. I think if you can just raise awareness of the issue, mention it, and maybe, it would be lovely if you could include it in your programs.
Okay.
Book piracy.
Yeah, we try to do
and
that.
Also, everyone out there, don't buy pirated stuff. Go and buy the original.
But the originals are too expensive. I've gone through that as well.
No.
So probably we'll have to, do another show on that as well. But thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for being on the show. Lovely talking to you. It was a lovely conversation. But people, I know that, those books are quite expensive just because of the fact that, I was studying over in Pakistan. She studied over there in UK.
They're very expensive.
Situation might be a bit different. But then, try. If, for example, you can afford those books which are not pirated, please make sure that you buy them.
Okay, no, and also you can also buy from your friends, secondhand books, things like that. But keep it legit, keep it all above board, because otherwise we will never progress and evolve. But on that note, do log on to our Facebook fan page,
which is with the name of World This Morning.
Our Twitter page.
World This Morning without the G.
Our YouTube page.
World This Morning once again.
Our Daily Motion page.
World This Morning once again.
And the repeat is at?
9:05.
And one thing I'd like you guys to do is let's try and stay away from pirated things, and let's try and buy originals. We have enough money. We can spend a lot of money on our food. We can spend enough on something worthwhile.
Very nice.
Okay. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you bright tomorrow early morning. Bye-bye.
Good morning.